Where are we at? What are we doing? Let me get this situated. I think we're under control now. Do do do. Oh, I'm so sorry. From Sydney, Australia. Is it?
Danette, she was on the call
I
last
know,
time. I
I
felt
know.
so
Is it
far.
is it like what time is it there right now, Danette?
It's late. It's like 4 a.m., almost 4 a.m.
It is Wendell. It is Monday. It really is. I know. What does that mean? Has it just been a crazy day for you so far? Wendell says, "Boy, is it a Monday?" All caps on Monday. So, what's up, Lawrence? Tony, what's going on, brother? Steven's doing great. Awesome.
Rick's right up the road from us in Charlotte.
What up, Rick? We go up there every time we want to fly somewhere. Or usually I do. Robert's weird. He likes to fly off small airports. Always 3:59. Thank you so much for getting up at 4 a.m. to hang out with us. It means a lot. It's
You
really
know this
cool.
is recorded as well, right, Danette? I mean, I know that you like to interact on the training, and that's awesome and everything, but like it is recorded as well. So
Graduate from Irmo. Look at
I probably played him in football.
that. I played in football.
I probably did.
Yeah, live is better.
You
Live's
played
a lot,
Irmo in
a lot more
football.
fun too.
Oh,
Live's
he
more fun.
graduated in 1973, so probably not. Scratch that.
scratch, scratch that. Um, let's see. So we got another really good turnout today. Before your time, says Rick. It's a twinkle in your daddy's eyes. See, no sound. Curtis, can you hear us? Check out. It could just be a lag with your internet or something. I think we should be humming on all gears here.
You know, if he has no sound, he can't hear you troubleshoot his sound.
I know that's why I just continually was talking, like
Okay,
continuous,
okay, okay. I'll just put it
continuous
in
all
there,
around.
guys. We're it's a Monday for us too. So like don't think that just because we're joking with each other, we don't take this stuff seriously. We're just trying to get through our Monday, just like you guys are with yours. So I want to go ahead and hit the ground running today with some training. I uh, caught Ryan off guard. I just sent him the revised training package, right? Actually, I'm going to unshow my screen for a minute because I got to look at something. I just showed him the revised training for this week, which I decided that we need another piece of training in here to where you're able to take one client and have that client be worth, upwards of $100,000 a year for you. And this is a nifty, to even say it's a nifty little trick is the understatement of the year. And it's all Ryan. And I decided to put it in last minute because we have so much material to put out and everything. We are, we're going to spend every bit of time that it needs to be, but we already had like a full week planned. So just know to have your Facebook, Twitter closed, have your notepad out if you take, regular notes or whatever, or I'm a PC guy. I have Notepad plus plus or whatever, or like just regular notepad out, just so you can take some notes because we're going to be talking about some stuff here that that just really blows the whole lid off of this thing. Let's see. Let me address Curtis real quick. I just want to make sure
Yeah,
his
let's make sure
sound is
Curtis is
working.
good. And also, Robert really did just throw this on me too a little bit, but it's cool because it's stuff that I've talked about over and over again. So I'm not, I'm not worried about it. You guys will learn some cool stuff today for sure.
So just give me some yeses or ones if you can see and hear us both, just to make sure
Yeah, because the last one we
before
got
we get
was no
started here.
sound. Was the last comment we got.
All right, Greg
See
says
in
yes.
here.
Danette,
One.
Charles, Stephen, Rick. Okay,
Hey
cool.
Betty, how you
Betty,
doing, Betty?
hey, Betty, Doug, Gordon, awesome. Arthur,
What's up,
Rod,
brother?
wow. We got a lot of people on the call today, which is awesome.
Good.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Ryan, you ready?
I'm ready. Just let me know when I need to talk.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm going to start the slides.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing we're going to do is go on over a little week one review. Now, if you weren't here on week one, it's fine. The replay is up in the members area, just like this replay will be up. And remember, we separated it into two different I split the training down the middle just so it would, because we have to preserve that it has to be 720p, so you can read everything that we did on the screen. But if it was so big at 2 hours long that I had to split it so it would stream a lot better. So that's the reason I did that. On normal recordings and in a lot of training, it's not integral that you're able to read every little tiny thing on the screen. But in this one, it was, because we went through that awesome Reference USA software, as well as some other things that had some smaller print. And I want you to be able to see everything that we did. Moving on. So we talked about finding clients. Remember, this entire basis of high paying clients is not only about taking your existing clients and moving them up. We're also, what we did last week was showed you how to like drill down to the nitty gritty to precisely find clients that you will be able to, that it's not using a sharp shotgun approach. It's using laser targeted approach. You know exactly what they're spending on, how much they make a year, where their location is, who the chief executive name is, how much they're spending on advertising a year, all this different stuff. So, going into it, how well that client may be receptive to your higher paying services. And remember, with clients like that, with clients that make, that pull in millions of dollars a year, you are doing yourself a big disservice if you walk in there or talk to them and quote them $500-600 for something. A lot of times, I know that we use a lot of different example prices and stuff in some of our examples and everything, and we're going to talk more about more precise pricing next week. But you're going to be doing yourself a great disservice by talking about, oops, okay, by quoting a number that's too low right off the bat, because they're not going to take you seriously, and they're going to go to some other person or company or whatever that is quoting them 50 times more. And yes, I mean literally 50 times more. They'd rather go with them because it gives them a warm and fuzzy, rather than you asking for $500. They would, a lot of these people would rather go with a $25,000 company, because price indicates expert value, right? It's all about
Robert,
value propositioning.
Robert,
Yes.
can I say something real quick? Just don't let me. I just want to butt in real quick. Don't. That proposal, the deal that I just did. What I want to do is don't let me forget this, because I'm saying it aloud right now for everybody here. But I want to. I'm gonna go through and redact all the private information, like the client information and some other stuff. But I can break down. Like, that's a good thing to show about pricing and how to do it in a larger
Definitely.
scale. Because we're asking for $35,000 in web builds, and we ask for like 35, 40 grand in SEO work. So would that be interested, everybody, to sort of break down a six-figure deal we just went through a
Here's
couple
a
weeks
hint.
ago?
The proper answer is yes. That would be
Yeah,
very interesting for you to look
yeah,
at.
yeah, and I want to do it so I protect my clients' information, because they're going to be big on that. But I can still show you the pricing, everything that we broke. I can, it's like 8 pages of a proposal. How we went through everything, explained everything. So.
Greg, you can find it in the members area. I just wanted to answer Greg's questions real
Yeah,
quick.
no, Greg, you can find it in the mirrors area, brother, from the previous. Yep.
Okay. Finding clients. Are they advertising in certain ways? Are they out of ideas? Remember we were talking about last week, the dude with the sign standing out? It's funny because Ryan actually, I was out shopping the other day with my girlfriend, and Ryan called me. He was like, dude, I was going to take a picture of this really poor, sweaty guy that was sitting there with a sign, because, I mean, it is
It was
hot
just a
in South
kid.
Carolina
It
right
was
now.
just a kid, dude. It was like a
Oh, really?
20. Yeah, it was like a 20-year-old kid just standing in front of this little local brake shop. Who remembers that? Who remembers the human sign? Say I remember that, or put a one. I'm not sure how many people were here last week. We were talking about that one. Okay, so remember, so I'm driving down the road, guys, and I literally, because we think about what we're going to talk to you guys about all the time, and we talk a lot. And so I'm always thinking about training you guys and just rural and stuff. And this kid is standing out in front of this little brake shop, like it says free brake inspection, a little bitty sign. He's just sweating to no end. It's like 88 degrees, 90 degrees. And so I go down the road. I'm like, no, what, that'd be perfect. I turned around to drive back down the street to go and come back past them, and I was going to take a video of it for you guys. Like, this is exactly what we're talking about. You could pull into this little brake shop and just strike up a conversation with people because they're out of ideas. They got a
That dude.
20-year-old kid standing out in the 9-degree temperature on the side of the street, free brake inspection. They're just out of ideas.
Exactly. And like I said, back in 2006 or whatever, that's one of the ways I got my start is approaching people like that I knew that were out of ideas. So anyway, pre-qualifying clients, what is their current profit per client customer? We talked a little bit about that. Do you walk into the bakery right now that has like a $3 to $30 per customer, turnaround? Or do you go to the framer that has like a $5,000 customer turnaround or more, right? Well, as we talked about, it all depends. Where are you at right now in your business to where, is it worth it for you to take on the lesser customers right now? And more often than not, it's not worth it until you have everything streamlined and everything, and you've got the wherewithal that you can deal with those kind of clients and stuff. So if you're already taking big clients and everything, maybe it is, but for more bang for your buck, go for those bigger customer acquisition clients. Services to start with, we talked about automatable, outsourceable. We talked about some service to never start your services, that you never start with services that you have to touch yourself, right? Because you are a lead magnet right now. You are the rainmaker. It is your entire job to go in and fuel the lifeblood of your business with your your efforts, and you let your outsourcing, you let your team do all the grunt work. The moment you start embroiling yourself in grunt work, you're doing everybody a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice because you're not growing your business. You're doing your outsourcers a service because they're not making as much money, right? And you're even doing your clients a disservice because you are not focusing on what you should be focusing on, which is helping them in their business. Because not only are you rainmaking with new clientele each and every day, you're also reaching back to your existing client base, which is what we're talking about here, and offering them more services that I'm looking at it. I'm sorry, I was looking at a comment. Rick, I'll get to you in just a second because that's interesting.
I,
Hold on. What? You wanted to say something
no,
again, Ryan?
no, I was going to say something, but then I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm over here in the comment box talking to them.
All right.
Yeah.
But you're doing them a disservice because you're not offering them more services that's going to help them help their business out. Remember when I was talking about last week, I was talking about the cosmetic surgery physician that had to bring on not only more staff, but more doctors because I grew his practice by 2/3 in under a year because when we sat down and did the numbers and everything, it proved everything was trackable back to me. And he was like, holy crap, man, I owe and he's out buying like Benzes and stuff, like, and but it was great. It was awesome that I could do that for him. So Gerald, we're going to get into that in just a minute. Remember, guys, keep your questions to yourself. I mean, you can drop them in here and everything, but we're going to have like a Q&A at the end, and I'm closing out the questions box. So we want to get through the material and everything. We'll be able to see it afterwards. And plus Ryan's in the box as well. So, all right. So we talked a lot last week. What I want to cover this week is a few other ways to get those potential clients on board. Remember what, actually I'm going to open up the comments box a little bit for this. Who all remembers what we talked about last week in laser targeting those clients and all that information? You don't have to do that, Rick. I see your, you see what Rick said?
Yeah, I just responded.
Who remembers
Cool.
last week how laser targeted it was? The information you can get. And you can get this information for free. You can pay for it and have it expedited with like info free. But like you could drill down to where you can find the absolute perfect client. Now, what do you do with that, right? Don't be quiet now. I'm asking you guys a question. What do you do? How would you like to contact your Exactly. Charles said, I remember the library issue. Um, that's not really an issue though. There's ways we can get around it that we talked about last week. Let's talk about some client acquisition methods. Now remember, these are initial client acquisition methods that these aren't your clients yet, and we're going to talk about like the clients, the what to do if they're already your clients in more detail in just a minute. um, but these are initial client generation methods. Now we already talked about one of the most killer ways imaginable, which is the offline lead gen method, right? So the offline lead gen method, of course, is using video, but there's other ways that you can get clients in the door, and we want you to be made aware of those as well. So just because we're talking about other methods does not mean that you should be like, oh, these are better than the offline lead gen method. No, the offline lead gen method is freaking awesome, right? It's
Well,
one of
not
the
only
easiest free ways to do it. But I mean, it's absolutely, it proves to them that you know what the hell you're doing right off the bat. It
yep.
also generates goodwill because you're doing something for free for them right off the bat. But there's other methods here that we want to cover as well. Go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry.
And what I was gonna say is also, and the other methods we want to cover are killer too, but also, there's so many people on the call. Everybody's gonna listen and doing what makes sense in their business. But there are some methods that when I say you, it means every individual on this call may uh, feel more comfortable doing. Whether it's the offline lead gen method, whether it's what we're about to show you, you may get in the comfort zone or a good process in place. Like, I do what I do at Legion is I just block off, a few hours of work at a time, do the Legion stuff, forget about it, and then check on it, a couple weeks later when it's generating a lot of phone calls and stuff. What we're about to show you, there's processes, and this gets your phone ringing and stuff like that. So it's, just to reiterate, it's not to replace anything you already know or to say the Legion's not, don't do the Legion no more, do this, because Legion works well and it works really well, but this is other ways to do it. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
clear that up.
And before we get in, we actually released some information about this for free on YouTube a while back. But we're going to go into more depth with you guys right now because it is that, and that is direct mail basically. Now, who on the call has ever done direct mail? I got my questions box open. I want to know if anybody in here has done direct mail before. Scott said he has. Rick says he has. Did you get any kind of return? Did you get the return that you like when you've done it? Arthur
Arthur,
said he has.
Rod,
Rod,
Kurt,
Kurt. Greg says no. Kurt says he.
the other
Kurt,
Kurt,
I'm
Kurt with a
not.
K.
Yeah, I think Kurt said he did not
Very
get
little.
the
Oh,
return.
I like
Eric
what
says
Eric says. This is why very little. If you do very little right, it can still make you a lot of money.
yeah, exactly.
And that's sort of what we're going to talk about today. It's very laser targeted stuff.
Rod says
Once.
not good return. Should make follow up calls? Question mark. Danette says 25% conversion. Well, Danette, I mean, that's pretty
Yes.
awesome. What kind of, I mean, depending on what kind of numbers and everything, but that's a great start.
Rod,
25%
we're going to talk
conversion with
about
the,
that.
yeah.
Making a follow up calls. We actually have a script that I
Now,
use for the follow up calls. So
now,
it's
you
perfect.
see what Danette is talking about right now? So Danette's
Yeah.
already kind of a rock star because uh, Rick's talking about she nailed it to family. Uh, Danette is using this method, what we're going to talk about. Well, I don't know what method she's using, but she used it for an initial thing, right? An initial service, which was mobile websites, right? And that's exactly what we're talking about. When you use these options, you get them in the door using one thing. Now, Danette, I'm going to pick on you because you're bragging. Don't, and it's
Mm-hmm.
cool and all, it's 4 a.m. where you are, but you're bragging a little bit. So brag a little further. Did you take them from mobile websites to other services and take what was, an X amount a month client or, a one-time payment client up to a higher paying client by offering them more services on the back end and recurring stuff? She says yes. Cool. What did you take them? I mean, and they're still your clients? Are they recurring, higher end? I think she's just bragging right now.
Good for her.
Cool. Yeah. No,
Now,
definitely.
not doing videos.
All right.
Yeah,
Now,
she
Ryan
is.
didn't know I was going to use his image in here, but Well, he did
It's
a
fine. It's
YouTube
public
video not
image. It's
not long
public
ago,
information. So
and he did a YouTube video a while back where he talked about two different kinds of envelopes that he really likes for his business. And since then, I've been using them as well. I actually went in. He went out of town one time, like a few months ago, and he was like, "Hey, man, can you take my dog out for a little bit?" And like, I went over to his house to like take his
and he
dog, let his
came in
dog
and
out,
stole
and I
my
stole
stuff.
his envelopes because that's what kind of person I am. I will steal your marketing materials. I don't even care. So anyway, these are there. There's two sizes. I mean, there's actually a few sizes of these Manila envelopes, but we like the 10 by 13s because you can use those clear folder kind of things, like report covers and stuff, and put like a custom report inside there. So imagine if you did your research right on a company that they're making $2 million plus per year, right? They've only got like 3 or 4 employees in the whole thing. You already know the name of the top executive, right? The owner of the company. It's a private company. You don't have to worry about a board or anything. You know that they're already spending $20,000 a year on advertising. That they've already got a big block of Yellow Pages thing, and it's probably not working that well for them. Even more so, you know that they might not God, that I lost my train of thought. That Yellow Pages box probably isn't doing, what they want it to be doing. So you know all this stuff about them and everything. You also can look and see what kind of reviews, if any, they have on like Yelp or Google Places or anything like that. And if they've got any negative reviews, this is another trick that Ryan taught me to do is print that out and put that in a folder, right? When those clear, they cost like $1.50 at like Walmart or I
You
don't
can
know
get
if you
like
guys have
six for like a
Walmart anymore.
dollar and
Yeah,
something.
something like that. Those clear plastic report covers, slide it in one of them, and be like, hey, what's up with this review? Like just directly write on it or something like that. That's one way to get someone's attention and address it directly to that executive with a confidential stamp on top. Now, one of the biggest things about direct mail is how to get it in the hands of the person that it needs to do, the decision maker. Well, we've already taken some really, really crucial steps to make sure it gets to our decision maker, him or her, whoever's in charge of the company. One, we chose companies that were under 19 employees, right? So that in and of itself is going to help ensure that we're able to get that person, looking at our mail. And when we call to follow up, just like Rod was talking about earlier, I think it was Rod, um, when we call to follow up, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a minute, our chances of getting that person on the phone are increased exponentially. Does that make sense to everybody? Low employee base, right? Under 19 employees. I mean, you can go higher if you want to, but I'm just saying that this is the way that you can get in touch with them quicker, right?
Robert,
And then
am
put
I?
a confidential stamp on a 10 by 13 with the report cover. Go ahead, Ryan.
Did you want me to? Am I going to break down sort of like what goes on the envelope?
Yeah, definitely. You
Um,
can do that right now if you
can
want.
you go back? Can you go back? So just I want everybody to get this visual. If we can go back to okay, so get everybody pay attention and can see this big 10 by 13 envelope I'm holding. So just imagine all that's on here, somewhere near where my hand is, or maybe a little bit above, just a big confidential stamp. Boom. No return address. Okay, there's no return address, and then right in the middle of this, you're going to have the executive's name that you track down, right? And then their address. And then imagine, so if you're an executive at a company that does 2 million revenue a year, you probably have an assistant or somebody that pre-screens a lot of your stuff that comes in. So imagine this big ass brown envelope coming in. It's kind of bulky because you have a report cover inside of it with your marketing materials inside the report cover, a report cover, whether it's a letter or just something wrong with them on the internet. You're just like, hey, what's this about? It's going to get open, and also it's going to get to the decision maker as well. It doesn't look it's not anything, there could be standing orders for some of these receptionists and secretaries, and I know for a fact that like they're allowed to open all of the FedEx stuff and all the, if it looks like, but something like this is very personal looking and it's much different, especially the confidential stamp. So does that sort of make sense to everybody at the moment? Excuse me, I want to make sure we covered the actual how this is set up. So all it is to the executive, right? And a confidential stamp. There's no return address or anything like that on this.
Now,
Yes.
I want to reiterate one thing. Does this cost more than licking and sticking, into, regular white envelopes, just a white piece of paper? Yes, of course it does. But that's where the research using, the tools that we talked about last time, it's so important because you're laser targeting these. So your ROI is going to be exponentially higher than if you were doing like a spray and pray approach. Now I've done
Yeah.
both approaches. I've done a spray and pray, a shotgun approach where basically, I sent off a CSV of, any type of businesses in a zip code to a print shop and had them, in like a letter template, and had them Zots the letter template, mail merge that with the list of names, hoping that they would get open. Had them stuff the envelopes for me, put the postage on first class and everything. And with that, because that letter was so strong, it actually worked. But it cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, every time I did a run, it would cost between $6,000 and $8,000, right? Now, would I get $6,000 or $8,000 worth of clientele back? I would probably get about $4,000 or $5,000 worth of initial clientele back, meaning they would come back. But I knew that I would make it on the back end, right?
Yeah,
Does
and
that
see,
make?
and that's the whole thing about that is what Robert's describing. Okay, first of all, let me ask
You
this
need to have
question.
deep pockets right away to do
You
what
have
I'm working
well,
on.
you need to have deep pockets right away. Not only that, you need to also understand a lot about marketing and campaigns where the goal of the shotgun blast is not to make money. It's to either break even at best or lose money, but it's
Yeah,
locking the people in residually.
I never broke even. That's why I don't. That's not why we're not. That's why we're not advocating it here. It
No.
worked well for me because I was able to make it up on the back end in the months, but I had long money in there. Does
There,
that
and
make
there
sense to you guys?
Yeah, and there are special ways to target and like the shotgun approach, but it's just this stuff works so much better,
Yeah.
and it's easier in your pockets, and you still get really good results. Kevin, we're gonna get to what's actually inside of the envelope because it can be a numerous things, whatever it is that's going to work for your business. But we'll show you some ways um, there and spray and pray. Before, never seen that before. Well, we're both military vets, Shane, so spray and pray is something from the military probably. Let's see.
Dude, so here's the confidential stamp. You can buy it for $4 on eBay, or you can walk into Staples, Home Depot. I am so sorry, Danette, and whoever else is in Australia. I have no idea what kind of stores, what they're called down there, but I'm sure you can grab one at whatever they're called. If you're not in the U.S., I don't know, but you can buy these from anywhere. I know you can get them on eBay or anywhere. Here's another one right here. I don't know why you look funny in this picture, but
Because you freeze framed the video, ass. That's why I look funny in the picture. Jeez.
all right, but this is really what it looks like. And on eBay, these run about $380 for 1,000, which makes them about 38 cents, I guess, if my math is correct. And then you can get them for like
Yeah.
630 for 2,000. Ryan, what did you pick them up for? Because you got
I
1,000,
spent.
didn't you?
Yeah, we got 1,000 of them, and the callback we got was really good from the first like 500. I want to say we spent like 33 cents per, so like 300 and something. But I found the resource recently, or not recent, within the last couple months, somebody shared it with us from our audience.
Hmm.
And you can, because the only place you can find these, you have to order them in bulk, like 1,000 at a time. But you
Yeah.
can actually order like 100 of them.
Oh
But
wow.
you'd be paying like $1 per thing. You get like $100 for 100 of them.
Hey
But I
guys,
mean,
these
they're
are the
really good
ones.
envelopes though.
These are the ones I stole from Ryan, and I probably, knowing that they're like, 300 and something dollars for like 1,000, I probably stole about $150 out of his house,
Yeah,
but it's all
these
good.
what now for these two. If anybody is interested in trying like 100 or a couple hundred of these and not wanting 1,000, let me. I would say because
Dude, I still got like 100 of them in here. We should hold like a
Yeah.
contest where we send them to somebody
Yeah,
that
we
like.
should. Think I got a box of 500. I was going to show a link where, and I know my guys in DC have a whole bunch of these. We bought so many of these. Um, I want to find that link. It's put in the chat if anybody's interested in these types of envelopes but does not want to buy 1,000 of them. Just put it in the chat box. Let me just see if there's a meme. And if you're listening right now to this recording, you're not live on the call. Go into the Facebook group that we made, and then let us know in there too. I would damn buy as a group. I'm interested, but I don't want 1,000. Well, Robert, let's figure a way out. I'm gonna look for that link that you
Why
can
don't
buy
we
like
just let
100,
them
and then
do a group buy or something?
yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
looking. I'm looking at a box across my office right now. 500, or probably less than 500, probably like 350 of these in there because
Mm.
I've been messing with them the last couple months still. So
But at the end of the day, and somebody else dropped something in here too. I want them to know that I didn't like totally ignore them. Rick dropped this in. He's like, go to the post office and get the free express mail envelopes and stamp confidential on the outside, and I assure you it will get opened. And that's another way to do it. The point is that it looks different than your standard 8.5 by 11. Well, the envelopes, I think they're called A4 envelopes that everybody else kind of uses. They stand out. They don't cost an arm and a leg. You don't have to actually pay FedEx, or UPS prices to have the results, because this thing right here, that's going to get opened. A 10 by 13 manila envelope with confidential stamped on it, that's going to get opened. An express envelope from the USPS, that's going to get opened, right? And it's probably, going to get opened by the addressee. So that's what you want. Now, moving on a little bit, there was what we're doing is basically just like we said. You can use Reference USA, Info USA, Manta, plain old research on their site to find decision maker and the address, right? And you write them a letter with the following elements. Now, this is for like if we're starting off with something like SEO. Now, for those of you that are walking in, I think everybody here has Offline Legion. For those of you just walking in and are just getting the hang of Offline Legion, what we're talking about is not only the Offline Legion method, right? But we're giving you options of other methods, initial services that you can use to get a client in the door for that first initial service, and then upsell them other services. So before you start getting confused, I really want to iterate that. You can use the Offline Legion method. You can sell them the videos. You can sell them lead acquisition, or you can sell them something like SEO services, or you can sell them something like mobile websites, which was what Danette was talking about, bragging about. I'm just kidding with you, Danette. I'm really I like I'm just messing with her because she's such a badass. She's here with us every week. So
I love it.
Brian, do you want to go through some of this stuff, because this is kind of your material as well?
Yeah, no, I can talk a little bit. So this goes back to what Kevin asked a little while ago. So Kevin, you're like, what goes in the envelope? Okay, and what we've sort of discussed up to right now is we've shown you two solid ways to get the person that you want to, which is the executive or whoever, to open your message or open your envelope. So if we can get that open, that's our first win, right? If we can just get this damn letter to get open. So I really love the brown big manila envelopes, the confidential stamp, and the personal handwriting, personally addressed to them with the report on the inside, report cover, plastic cover, plastic spine, and then whatever marketing material that you want inside of that report. It could be numerous things. These are good elements to follow. So if you're going to actually do a letter, okay, or something, the most important thing is you need to get, like, so we got the envelope opened. Now we need to get their attention really quick again, okay? And one of the ways to do that is by personalization, to grab their attention. So it could be, if you took like a little snippet of their logo off their site, or their website, or maybe just their name in bold print. Anything that, as soon as they look at the top fold of your message, that you're going to get their attention again. Okay. It depends on what you're selling. If you're selling SEO services, then maybe it's a screenshot of the first page of Google, for their market. So whatever that keyword is, say you're going after a tree removal guy, and you type in tree removal in Google, and then you take a screenshot of the first page and you point like, are these guys a better tree removal specialist than you? They're all on top of Google. Like, where are you at? So that's one way to catch your attention. All right, and on top of that same screenshot of Google, you'd still want that personalization. You'd still want their website logo or something above the screenshot of Google. So catch your attention, show them the problem, and then what's the solution? Give me a call. I wouldn't suggest to people on here that are not, how to say this, Robert, that are not copywriters, or at least understand some degree of copy. Now, when I started doing direct mail, and I knew I wanted to do this a lot, I was reading everything by Dan Kennedy that I could, because he's a really good direct response marketer, and I sort of just learned stuff from him, and it worked. I'm not sure what's on the next slide. Do we talk about the reputation method, or let's see. Okay, cool. So I want to talk a little bit more about what can go inside. This is okay. Who wants to know reviews on email? The highest callback. I'm gonna get you. This is. I need you guys to pay attention. I'm gonna tell you shit you not, over almost a year and a half of me doing direct mail, teaching people different techniques, students, everything. The best callback rate ever that I just ever see, time and time again. We're talking the net numbers, like 25% callback rates a lot of times. So I want everybody to pay attention, because I'm going to tell it to you right now. Are we all paying attention? Let me look at the attentiveness, because I reserve this only for special people. Oh, look at that. You see that? Yeah, it's gone up. And look at it going. Everybody's paying attention now.
It's at 97%. It means there's like 5 people that are checking their Facebook right now. And they know about
Okay. So this is it, guys. And this is all you need to do. Okay. You already just using the same brown envelope, the same technique. You just find something negative about this company online. And it's not because you have to sell. You want to sell reputation management necessarily, but you want this business to call you. Okay, you want this business to call you, and I'm going to tell you how to use direct mail to generate a lot of more than you could imagine if you're not careful. Okay, use your brown envelope. Go to Google. You can either search Google Local. You can search Yelp. What's all the any review site or citation site where customers are leaving reviews in your area, or the area that you want to be in, or the potential client that you want, and find a negative review about them. Okay, whether it's on Google's first page, or if it's right from the 7-pack, wherever it is, just find it, take your screenshot of it. Okay, and actually, hold on, Robert, pull up a notepad real quick. Is that possible? I want to make sure, because this isn't on the slide. I want to make sure that we can help people follow along with this really quick.
Hold on.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking while he does that. So, what you want to do, right, is in line with the same thing. So, step one, Robert, would just be find negative review or find negative information about the person that's online.
Wait, why don't I just put it in a PowerPoint slide? That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. That's perfect. That's even better. See, this is why we're partners. Now, guys, you got this negative thing, whether it's a bad review, whatever the thing is. You take the screenshot of this negative thing, and then you print that out. You put it in the envelope the same way we tell you, and then all you write on there is, I had a question about this bad review, or I had a question about this. Give me a call. Or you can say, what is this all about? Give me a call. You can act concerned. You can act like you're a consumer, whatever it is. But just imagine that. So you're executive. You're trying to run your company. You get this big ass brown manila envelope. Comes in the mail. You open it up. Okay, it is a report cover with a printout of a negative review about your company, and it just says, "Hey, what's this about? Give me a call." Find negative review. Yep. Send personalized mailing. Yep. And then all you need to ask is clear report cover, and then all you need to ask is, what's this review about? Question mark. Give me a call. Give me a call and a number, and that's it. If you want your phone to ring off a hook with decision makers, do this. We were just actually, are you on the call? Is Jeffrey on the call? Did you see him, Robert? Jeffrey separate. Nope, I don't see him. Jeff's not on call. We
Nah,
just
yeah, no,
we were going over this
Jeffrey's not on the
method.
call.
Yeah, we went over this method a
Jeffrey
month or
got
two
down
ago.
on this thing.
He got down on this method. He was out there printing out these bad reviews, mailing, and he was getting like 20 to 30% callback. I mean, he was dropping like 15 at a time. It wasn't like, oh, I put 10 in the mail and 2 people called back and I got 20% callback rate. No, he was dropping like 50 at a time, and every time he was dropping 50, like 10 people, 20 people were calling him back.
And
So
that's that is insanely good results with direct mail, and that is why this laser targeted method works really, really well. Because think about it, you're only spending a grand total of about what 250, $2 250, and that's in the States. I'm sure it's comparable in other countries.
what, to send
Uh,
these out, these
yeah,
mailers?
to
It's less than
to
two.
send
It's
these
less than
out.
$2. It's less
Yeah,
than $2.
okay,
It's we
and
call it two for an even number though.
yeah, and you're getting 10 callbacks for per 50, so it costs you less than $100 to send you out 50, right? You're getting 10 callbacks, and there's absolutely no reason one or two of those won't close. So for every $100 that you send out, you're getting multiple hundreds or thousands of dollars back as the initial for the initial mail out. I mean, you're getting a positive ROI already. Whereas what we were talking about with the spray and pray method, which is what I was talking about, I don't mean to harp on it or anything, but I know people had questions about what it was. Like, I would be in the hole for a couple of $1,000s for at least a month or two, and it was longer money. I would eventually back it up. This way, you're profitable right away. Does
Yeah,
that
and
make sense?
let me address Janine too. That makes perfect sense. I'm pretty sure
Jeanette, this is not just for, just like Ryan said, this is not just for selling reputation
this is just
management,
to get
though.
them on the phone. This is, you're getting their attention and you're getting them on the phone. You can ask a legitimate question about the review and then take them in any direction that you want. You're getting them to call you curious, and then you can, if you want to talk about reputation management. But let me tell you the secret, Danette, and everybody listening, about reputation management. Reputation management is not a service. It's like a thing. Reputation management, the actual thing of doing reputation management, is mainly SEO. You're SEOing things to make the bad things go away. So when you say reputation management, you're really at the heart of everything. You're selling SEO, okay, and that's what it boils down to. I mean, there's other ways about funneling leads. I mean, funneling customers into getting reviews and stuff like that. But when you're talking about pure reputation management, like pushing bad information from the first page to the second page. Like, we just took on a client. You Google this guy's name. He's a personal trainer. You Google his name, and an assault charge shows up like number 5. And the funny thing is, I'm not going to take on clients like assaulting women or something, but he got in like a fight with his older brother, and then his older brother posted, it was like a sibling rivalry at home, and he got an assault charge. So that's fine. I understand that stuff. So we're for $5,000, we're going to push them off. And what am I going to do for $5,000? I'm going to SEO a couple of things to come into the first page, and then it's going to go away, and then everybody's happy. It'll probably cost me $300-400 to do. Um, he's going to pay me half up front, half later. But the point is then that you don't have to sell reputation management. Remember, this is getting people on the phone. This is going to open a dialogue with people. Janine says, have you ever asked, I have a question about this, please have the owner manager call me. I've never called out the owner manager, Janine, and this is why. We talk about in the first call and a little bit here, but these are laser targeted mailers. If we do this right, the person you want, which is the owner or manager, is going to call you because they're going to be the one reading this, right, Janine? And even if it doesn't make it, and say that their secretary reads this, they're going to look at this and be like, what the hell is this folder and the review and the thing? And they're going to pass off to their boss because they're not going to be responsible for holding that bag of shit.
Yeah,
Okay, so they're going to pass it up.
as soon as you put like, please have the owner slash manager contact me, you undo all the hard work that you did in laser targeting that company and addressing it directly to the owner, right? You're taking a step back, because then it's automatically not personalized anymore
Yeah,
as
and
much as
Robert,
it is if you just put this, what's this review about? Yeah,
yeah,
we're not
Robert,
beating
can you
up
put
on you,
this up
Janine. I
on
just
the?
wanted, yeah. What?
Yeah, it's perfect. Can you put this up? It is quotation. This is another thing that I write in the quotation. I had a question about this review. Can you give me a call? I had a question about this. So remember, guys, put this in. You can just handwrite this on that page. You can put a sticky note and write it on a sticky note. You can attach it to another piece of paper and write, but just handwrite this. I had a question about this review, or what's this review about? You're saying give me a call, and then it's a bad review. Someone's gonna be like, oh, their steak sucks, or whatever kind of business you're going after, or and they're gonna call and they're gonna want to address this bad review, this situation. So this is by far, when we're talking direct response mailings, the by far and large the largest callback rates that I get now. Caveat, disclaimer: you gotta have thick skin for this. You gotta have thick skin, because some of these people will call you back. What do you think they're gonna? You think it's gonna be nice? Who thinks that all these phone calls are gonna be cakewalk, just lovey-dovey phone calls? Because they're not. Okay, people they're gonna call you back and they're gonna be like, I just took over this business and that was a previous blah 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 and this that and yeah blah blah, and I got the best sandwich making shop in the city. And they're gonna be, but those are people you really want to talk to because they're really passionate about what's going on. Okay, they look perfect. They will be defensive. No, and that's where the key is, taking them from defensive to, hey, look, I understand. Like, I get it. I'm on your side. I understand that, people, all the happy customers you have, they're not leaving you good reviews. It's only the upset people that are leaving you bad reviews. We can help you with your internet marketing, everything, whether it's helping you get rid of some of his reviews, some other lead generation stuff. I'm on your side, and that's why I sent you that letter in the mail. And so you have to take them from pissed off to, oh, this person's on my side, he gets me, he understands me, and then you can transition them and bring them into any direction that you want. But again, I've done this a lot, so it's easy for me to sit here and say this, and I understand it's not as easy for everybody listening to do it. So I want to make sure you do understand, going in, for anyone like, oh, I think I'm going to try this out and drop 50 in the mail, your phone's going to ring, I promise you that, but not everybody's going to be happy. So if you're not like really really confident on the phone yet, this is a good way to get confident, because you're gonna get called, or you don't want to sell reputation management right off the bat, or you're not confident in that transition, just be warned, it's going to take you some work, right? But if you do this and the more people call you, right, the more people call you, you're going to get better at talking on the phone. The RIMAC close.
It segued perfectly into it, because I mean, it takes all the pressure off of you. And guys, one day I will sit down with you. Ryan's heard my close, and he laughs at me all the time, because it's not something I would ever suggest you guys do until you get comfortable. His close works very very well. Mine does too. But you absolutely have to like keep a straight face with my close. And keep in mind, when we talk like this, everything we do is to help the business owner, right? We're not like, high-fiving and smacking our hands or whatever, about, oh, we just knocked this guy's head off or anything. We help the business owner, but sometimes they have to be led a little bit more than other business owners to, because people don't know how, how much you can really do for them. How much you can do for them, but not a whole lot of people do at first. So it's important to get them in the door with this one service right away, and then expand upon that, like we've been talking about. I hope that makes sense. I don't want it to seem like we're doing anything that is not at the absolute pinnacle of ethicalness, right? I know that's not a word, but you know what I mean. But we, as marketers, we have to talk about marketing and what works and what doesn't. So,
yeah, Jeff, that's essentially it. That's really really close. So let me set the tone for this close. I actually just got some feedback the other day. Some people were like, "Yo, I was using your clothes and I've been making money. Thank you for sharing it. I've shared it before in the past." So this is the setup for this sort of close. Now, I've put letters in the mail. Okay, I want to sell SEO, so whether or not I went in with their bad review and got them to call me, or I straight told them that they're not on Google and they're not getting found, we're going in with SEO. All right, Robert, what are you doing? You're confusing me.
I wanted to put it back full screen, but it went up back.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're like ADHD. I'm trying to talk and then the screen. So that's the whole setup, guys. So I mean, the numbers, these are real world numbers, by the way. I don't know why people think these are crazy numbers. These are actually really low numbers, and we'll talk about that more. But so that's the thing. Somebody's called me up from me marketing to them. They've called me back. I've got them, and I'm ready to close them. Okay, and so it goes something like this. What happens during the call, one of the first things they're going to ask you is how much all does it cost before, and this is before you've had time to set the value of what you're doing. So you have to deflect that question if it comes within the first 3 minutes, because it will. You have to deflect that question, and I understand you want to know how much it costs. I need to ask you a few questions first, and if that's fair, and then I'll tell you how much all this to get started. And you deflect that question back to them, ask them if it's fair, to say, hey, I need to ask a couple questions because it's not everybody's business is different, okay? And they're gonna say, yeah, sure, and then you can ask them questions, and this goes into more of the script and stuff where you're asking them a bunch of questions, so they're saying yes a lot, all right, and then they're gonna come back, okay, look, how much is call to get started, or you'll know when you need to say this, and hey, look, Tom, to get started, I take a setup fee, $9.97 for this 5 keyword campaign. This covers everything from setting up your website correctly so Google can simply read it. I don't want to get into technical stuff. To initial social signals and link building, all the things that we do as SEO consultants to boost your rankings. And then it's going to be $4.97 a month to maintain those rankings and retain me SEO consultant. Now look, this just ensures that I don't take up Tom the competitor down the street and their offer. Okay, that's what this monthly retainer is for. And unlike other companies that charge you for months before you ever achieve results, I'm not charging you. I will not bill you until at least one keyword from the 5 keyword campaign is ranked on the first page. At that time that we hit the first page from the keywords, your first payment's due, and every 30 days thereafter. What's the best email to send an invoice, or do you prefer that I snail mail it? And then you shut up. That's it. You just be quiet.
Before I forget that I want to say this, I just want to reiterate real quick that how closely everything Ryan does, and that's the genius behind Ryan. I have to pat him on the back here because remember, we don't have the same offline businesses, right? He has his own offline businesses, and I have mine, and that's why a lot of the things we do aren't exactly meshed up. But I love how Rymac does this stuff because he is giving them something before they ever do anything. Right? Before they ever do anything, he's giving them something, whether it's the offline Legion method, whether it's this close for other kinds of clients, you're always giving them something first. How much more, and I've got my chat box open, how much more receptive would a potential client be to you if you're giving them something before ever asking it for anything in return? I know you guys aren't asleep. I know you can see. I'm looking at audience attendance right now. It's 100%. So wake up and give me a 1 or a yes.
Kevin says a lot more.
Okay, Kevin gets
the
prize for breaking the silence here. Here we go. Charles, Rod, Steven. Awesome. Guys, thank you. Before me and Ryan started working together, even teaching this stuff, and we were like comparing notes and how we do stuff. Like I'd never done that before. I'd never done that before. That was, it sounds crazy, but it was a foreign concept to me that to even do that. Because just as I think it was Jeff that says when we were talking about one of the ways that I close people earlier is Jeff hit it right on the head. I'm not even nice. At least Ryan's nice. I'm not nice at all. I'm like, look, you need me. I don't need you. I have all this traffic for plumbers in the Charlotte area or whatever. You either say yes or it's going to your competitor. Now, am I mean to the person? No, but I'm very upfront. A lot of times I'll even tell them, and I don't mean to get off track or whatever, but a lot of times I'll even tell them, I don't think that you're even ready. You're not even staffed. I know how much staff you have on hand. You don't have enough staff right now to fulfill all the traffic that I'm going to be sending you. Give me a call back in 6-7 months. Now, do you think that works? That becomes a pride issue right there.
And see, this is the thing too.
And I don't suggest you doing that, by the way. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, and there's a time and a place to do that.
Yeah.
I've actually, since Robert and I has partnered up and I've heard and watched him more, I've actually used that now pretty effectively a couple of times, that strong takeaway, and it works marvelous. But when you're in a position to do that, then you can do it, and that takes a lot of confidence.